The siren wailed, a mournful cry swallowed by the downpour. Rain lashed against the windows of the brownstone, blurring the already indistinct shapes of the Harlem streets. Inside, Elias cradled his saxophone, its brass gleaming faintly in the dim light, a silent metallic echo of the storm. He hadn't played in weeks, not since the rejection letter arrived, crisp and official, from the prestigious music academy. He felt as if he was drowning not in water but in disappointment. Elias was a melody, unfinished. Growing up, his world was the vibrant music scene of Harlem, where rhythms bounced off every wall and every face held a story waiting to be sung. His grandmother, Mama Clara, a blues singer whose voice could stir the soul, had gifted him the sax and filled his childhood with the legacy of black musicians who paved the way. Music was in his blood, a current that connected him to his ancestors. But now, the music felt stuck in his throat, a tangled knot of doubt and frustration. The rejection stung, not just as a personal failure, but as a confirmation of the insidious whispers that had haunted him his whole life. You are not good enough. This world isn't made for you. Mama Clara found him there, bathed in the melancholic glow of the storm. Her eyes, wise and knowing, so passed the saxophone to the boy hidden beneath the weight of disappointment. She didn't offer empty platitudes. Instead, she sat beside him, her presence a warm, comforting anchor. Play something, baby, she said, her voice a low rumble. Play what's in your heart. He hesitated, his fingers tracing the cool metal of the keys. The rain intensified, mirroring the turmoil within him. Finally, he lifted the sax to his lips. The sound that emerged was tentative, a shaky note that wavered in the air. He closed his eyes and the rain outside faded away. He saw Mama Clara, young and vibrant, singing in Smoky Club. He saw his father, a brilliant but troubled pianist, lost to addiction. He saw the faces of his ancestors, their struggles and triumphs etched in their determined gazes. He saw himself, a young boy with a sax bigger than his dreams, reaching for the stars. The tentative notes grew stronger, coalescing into a melody of pain and resilience. It was a blues riff, raw and honest, a lament for lost dreams and a defiant cry against injustice. The saxophone became his voice, his weapon, his solace. He played for what felt like hours, pouring every ounce of his frustration, his anger, his hope into the music. Mama Clara listened, her eyes closed, a faint smile gracing her lips. When he finally finished, the storm outside had subsided, leaving a fragile silence in its wake. That's it, baby, she said, her voice thick with emotion. That's the music they can teach you in no academy. That's the music that comes from your soul. He looked at her, his eyes filled with tears. He realized she was right. The rejection hadn't diminished his talent. It had simply revealed a different path. He didn't need their validation. He had his music, his heritage, and his grandmother's unwavering belief in him. The next day, Elia started playing in the streets of Harlem. He found a spot outside a bustling barber shop, the rhythmic snap of clippers and the lively chatter of the neighborhood forming a vibrant backdrop to his music. At first, people hurried past, barely noticing him. But then, something shifted. A young boy stopped to listen, his eyes wide with wonder. An elderly woman tapped her foot to the beat. A couple shared a smile, their hands brushing together in time with the music. His music became a conversation, a bridge connecting strangers, a celebration of life in all its messy, beautiful complexity. He played the blues, he played jazz, he played soulful improvisations that sprung from the heart of Harlem. He learned to listen to the rhythm of the city, to translate its stories into melodies. One evening, a man in a sharp suit stopped to listen. He was a record producer, known for his discerning ear and his commitment to showcasing authentic voices. He listened intently, his eyes closed, his head bobbing to the beat. When Elias finished, the man approached him, a glimmer of excitement in his eyes. You got something special, son, he said. Coming real, I want to record you. Elias hesitated. He had been burned before, but he looked at the man's face and he saw genuine passion, a desire to share his music with the world. He took a deep breath and nodded. The recording sessions were intense, demanding, but also exhilarating. He worked with seasoned musicians who understood his vision, who helped him to hone his sound without compromising his authenticity. He told them his story through his music, the story of a young black man from Harlem, struggling to find his place in a world that often tried to silence him. The album was a revelation, It was a fusion of genres, a tapestry of sounds that reflected the diverse influences of his life. It was raw, it was honest, it was undeniably him. It resonated with people from all walks of life, drawn to its authenticity and its powerful message of hope and resilience. Elias's music climbed the charts. His name became synonymous with soul and innovation. He toured the world, sharing his music with audiences who were moved by his story. But he never forgot where he came from. He always returned to Harlem, to Mama Clara, to the streets that had shaped him. One day, he received an invitation to perform at the very music academy that had rejected him. He hesitated at first, a flicker of resentment rising within him. But then he remembered Mama Clara's words. Use your voice, baby. Use it to make a difference. He accepted the invitation. He walked onto the stage, bathed in the bright lights, and looked out at the sea of faces. He saw students, professors, critics, all waiting to hear what he had to say. He lifted his saxophone to his lips and began to play. He played the music of his soul, the music of his ancestors, the music of Harlem. He played with passion, with conviction, with a deep and abiding love for his art. The audience was spellbound. They listened, they felt, they understood. When he finished, the hall erupted in applause. He bowed his head, humbled by the experience. He had come full circle. He had proven them wrong, not by conforming to their standards, but by embracing his own unique voice. Elias continued to make music, to tell stories, to inspire others to overcome adversity. He never forgot the lessons he had learned, the struggles he had faced. He used his platform to advocate for social justice, to amplify the voices of the marginalized, to create a more equitable world. He knew that the road ahead would not be easy. There would always be challenges, obstacles, setbacks, but he also knew that he had the strength, the resilience, the music to overcome anything. He was Elias, the saxophone player from Harlem, and his story was just beginning. The rejection had been a detour, not a destination. It had forced him to find his true voice, to embrace his identity, and to use his music to change the world, one note at a time. His success was not about escaping his roots, but celebrating them, amplifying them, and using them to build a bridge to a brighter future.